My name is Evelyn, and I am really different from all the people on this planet. And it's not about any talents or special features. The thing is that I became the owner of the most expensive mask in the world. If a year ago someone had told me about this, I would have made a cuckoo sigh and called that person a fool. How can one buy masks at all, and why do you need them? I used to think earlier. But reality dictates its own conditions, and we have to adapt to them. Since I am a freedom-loving girl from a very wealthy family, I resisted the mask regime in our school as hard as I could. But my opposition was as useless as an udder on a bull, and in the end, I realized that I would have to wear a mask. Actually, it was a pity that we all have become the same. Behind a piece of this fabric, you cannot see whether one is beautiful or not, what kind of lipstick they have, and what the shape of their lips is. Damn, now it's impossible to know if your interlocutor makes faces at you and sticks out their tongue under the mask. All the people have become roughly equal, and this is very painful for some individuals who are used to being different from the majority. Honestly, I did not understand how one could spend money on masks and why they did it. So I asked our housekeeper to buy me a stack of the most ordinary single-use ones. Well, like those for doctors and medical workers. However, I managed to wear these only 4 times because for the 4th time, a string on the mask on my face was torn right during the lesson and it just fell off me. Moreover, it was not possible to attach the string again. My classmates started laughing at me and saying that it was such a shame that such a rich girl had no money for a normal mask. Some of them even suggested that everyone should chip in and buy me a new one. This was probably the worst day of my life. Never before have I had to endure any ridicule or stupid jokes from peers. But now, this is all because of the stupid mask. That's a total failure. On that day, tears never left my eyes. I did not know how to cope with the shame that had piled on me. And what happened was a serious blow to my pride. Damn mask. I hate it. The next day, I refused to go to school and did not explain anything to anyone. And of course, my parents were a little bit worried. In the evening, they offered me to explain everything to them, especially since the emotions on my face revealed that I had serious problems. So I had no choice but to tell them about the situation. Mom called that nonsense and even laughed at the seriousness of my problem, adding that I should immediately throw all the stupid things out of my head and just go to school. To my surprise, Dad did not agree with Mom's position. When he heard about my problem, he got very nervous and then promised to come up with something. What can you come up with in such a situation? I won't be able to wash off the shame that has fallen on me, I thought. Also, it's worth saying that Dad somehow managed to come to an agreement with Mom because for the next 10 days, I was staying at home, thinking about what to do next. But then Dad put an end to this whole story. Rather, this turned out to be just the beginning, but I'll tell you about that later. So, Dad gave me a real mask made of gold, which was covered with various precious stones. When I saw it for the first time, my eyes began to be dazzled because even I had never seen so many diamonds in one place. It was as if the mask was not real, but from some fairy tale. Later, I took it, and then a new shock awaited me, but it was less pleasant. The thing is that the weight of the mask turned out to be really impressive. Well, if it were a handbag or a sneaker, then it would have been okay. But damn it, this is a face mask, and its weight turned out to be about 300 grams. It was kind of scary to wear such beauty on my face. Oh yes, its price could not leave anyone indifferent either. It cost around $2 million, and this only added to its fabulousness and magic. And to be honest, I was scared to put it on. That's why, for some reason, I hoped that my dad bought it for our mini museum. However, then I remembered what had happened in the classroom a few days earlier, and my mood suddenly improved. Now I will wipe the eyes of all my classmates so that they will remember who is who forever. I will have the most expensive and luxurious mask in the world. I was looking forward to the next day to go to school. I anticipated the envious glances of my classmates and the shock in the eyes of the teachers. And I will prove that I have the coolest and wealthiest family, so the jokes about me are at least stupid. In general, as expected the next day, my look caused a real sensation at school. All the students from the first to the highest grades, as well as all the teachers, medical workers, school administrators, and even the cleaners rushed to see me. Not mentioning the fact that in the crowd of idlers, there showed up even our school dog named Batman. I felt the most amazing, the most wonderful, and the coolest girl. This feeling was not new to me, but this time it was especially sweet and solemn. I wanted to laugh at my bold classmates and tell them something sharp, but I didn't do it. I think they understood everything without further ado. But my positive emotions did not last long, because already during the second lesson, I had severe pain and felt dizzy. Everything got dark, and I felt nausea in my throat. It was a very unpleasant feeling. But before, I experienced the same after wearing a mask for several hours. I decided to ask the teacher to let me go to the first aid post, and as soon as I started to stand up, everything around me got blurred, as if on an amusement ride. And that was it. Everything went dark. I came to my senses in an ambulance, and I had a mask on my face. In fact, it was not the precious mask, but the oxygen one. At first, I tried to understand what had happened. And when I remembered everything, I was gripped by horror. I tried to stand up, but it didn't work, so I started shouting, "Mask! Where is my mask?" That is, it was not my health that worried me most, but my precious mask. The worst thing for me was to be left without it, because it was worth a fortune. But that time I was not destined to find out where it was, because I again fainted. I had a whole week at the hospital ahead of me. And the problem was not only in a loss of consciousness due to oxygen starvation, but also in a severe allergy to gold which I developed. It turned out that there was so much of it in my mask that it could even kill a person. In general, it is always bad to get sick, but I had time to think. And there was a lot to think about, because I wanted to prove to everyone my superiority with the help of my father's money. But in fact, everything turned out to be exactly the opposite. After a week, I clearly understood that all the old values are no longer relevant in my life. Money, pride, race for authority, and vanity. These are all empty things, and it is impossible to prove something to someone with the help of wealth. By the way, this also applied to my dad. I really wanted him to understand the same as I did. After I was discharged from the hospital, I asked my parents to transfer me to an ordinary school, where there was no need to conform to the unspoken luxury principles of other rich kids, where there is no need to be afraid that the string on your mask will get off or it will tear, where you can just study. It turns out that in our time, this is a real luxury. My parents begged me to think properly and not to do anything rash, but I was adamant. After some time, we still managed to agree, and I went to an ordinary private school. But even that made me happy. Now I will tell you something about luxury again. Studying in a cheap private school is a real luxury. Now I don't need to agree on my looks for the next week with my stylist and wake up 3 hours before the beginning of classes to do my hair and makeup. And my classmates here are very cool. They aren't really obsessed with brands, with what you wear, with how much money your dad has, and how much your mask costs. They perceive you as a person and appreciate people for their inner qualities, not for trinkets. Well, as for the precious mask, my mother got it, but fortunately, she doesn't use it.